Today we're looking at the Citroën Ami or Ami. I don't know. This thing is absolutely wild. And the only part I've seen of this car, you're wondering, how do you know what it is? Well, I don't know what it is other than this right here. When we were exchanging Christmas gifts for the kids, my parents surprised me and snuck in a little gift for me, and I got a laugh out of it. Thought it was pretty freaking cool. I don't know how they found it. It is a Matchbox that was purchased here that they thought of me, and it is a Citroen. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it's got pretty good detail, I think. And it's funny seeing it as a Matchbox because my impression of this thing is, oh, what the hell, right? This is a just bizarre looking car. It's almost what I'd expect from Citroen. I absolutely do love what I've learned about that brand because they're so fascinating. They always kind of push the envelope with unique and daring designs, you could say. And this is no exception. This thing is absolutely hilarious. It's unlike most any car you would ever see here in the United States, where we love big cars and even bigger trucks, with the exception of the Smart Car and in very small numbers, the Scion IQ. You won't ever find small cars like this. So we're going to learn about it today. I thought it's really cool that we have a little bit of an interactive video because I do have one for a reference point. So if we hop on over to the YouTube side of things, we can see if we just type in Citroën Ami, it actually filled it in Buggy. So we're going to take a look at that as well. I think there's two different versions of this car. So first of all, we have the shorts of this thing. In Monaco, of all places. Oh, that's not right. That's not right. Oh my God. I mean, it is a small car. This thing actually does look really fun, but yeah, you're not gonna be taking turns fast in that. Come on now, that's sketchy. It's not meant to carve corners at a high speed, I don't think. Okay, and then this is a video from Citroën themselves. All these will be linked down below, by the way. Look at this thing. I love this. This is called the Miami. The Miami Buggy. I freaking love this. So it's basically, it looks like a different version of this car, which is just the Ami or Ami. And then this is the Miami. And it's like an off-roady buggy type. I gotta admit, look at that thing. It's freaking cool, dude. It's just so bizarre. This is an EV. So I don't know any specs on it, by the way. Whatever we don't find out in this video, please feel free to educate me in the comments. I would appreciate it. Let's get real. This thing is actually kind of cool. It's dorky and goofy, right? But it's charming. I kind of like it a little bit. Especially with the off-road bits, right? Basically like a glorified golf cart, if I'm being honest, right? I mean, this is about the exact size of a golf cart, I feel like. You know, I have a golf cart, right, that I use around our property, and I feel like it might be even a couple inches longer than this, you know, and it has like it's a golf cart with like a utility bed attachment, like a pickup truck, right? So this is just funny. But I'm assuming it's street legal. I mean, they're driving it on the street. It has a plate on it. So if it is street legal, it has to have some sort of a decent top speed then. I mean, if it can, I assume anything that's street legal means that it's able to go on most roads and or the highway. So if this is able to keep up on the highway, then that's definitely better than a golf cart, right? To be fair. You know, a golf cart, you're going to be topping out around 20 to 25 miles per hour at the most. I'm definitely assuming this can go well above that. I'm assuming this might be able to hit 60 miles an hour, 100 kilometers per hour. This one has no doors, but should be legal just because Jeep Wranglers can have no doors, and those are legal. Even here in the U.S., where they love to give you tickets for everything. Jeep Wranglers, yeah, you're allowed to have no doors. And it does have a mirror. Taking a look at this review from What Cars will be linked as well. Just going to take a gander at this.
The Citroën Ami. Well, it is a tiny two-seat electric quadricycle, which is...
That is hilarious. That's the original one. That's the Matchbox version I have. That thing is just bizarre. It's like so funny to me. But it's kind of cool. I mean, Citroen has a way of making stuff that's just bizarre in the best way. It's weird. It's polarizing, right?
It is 2.5 meters long, 1.4 meters wide. It weighs 485 kilograms,
Damn, that's
which is
light.
about half of a Ford Fiesta.
That's mind-blowing. A Ford Fiesta's small, and this is half of that in weight.
It also has a mighty 8 brake horsepower electric motor, a top speed of
So my golf cart does have more power than that. My golf cart is a gas engine and is 14 horsepower.
28 miles an hour and
It only goes 28. Okay. Whoa. That is barely faster than a golf cart. So, is this a street legal car? Is this considered a motor vehicle?
from a full charge, the claimed official range is 46
What the
miles.
hell?
It also has a very tight turning circle of 7.2 meters.
Okay, this is getting
When
more
it was first unveiled, it was unclear
confusing by the
whether
minute.
Ami would be coming to the UK or not. The plan initially was
I
to
love
sell
the
it in some
Steelies, by
other
the way.
European- which was essentially the
That's what
regular
we
car,
just
but with
saw.
some off-road styling. That then became a full production model called the Citroen Ami Buggy, but it was only
okay.
sold in very small numbers and only sold in France. This, though, is different. It's the Citroen Ami Buggy 2.
Oh, okay. This is a sequel. Gotcha.
This
This is
coming to
such
the
a
UK.
weird
In
car.
fact, it's already here, as you can see. And when this first went on sale, it took just 2 minutes and 10 seconds for the first Ami Buggy to be sold, which is about as long as you've been watching this video. Now, compared to the regular Ami, this has no doors. Instead, it's got these steel protective bars. But like the regular Ami, both of these bars are the same part, which means that effectively one is rear
What?
hinged to get into the car.
Oh my God, it is. So one opens this way, another one opens conventionally. What
In
the
a similar
hell?
manner, the front and the rear bumpers are identical, like the regular car. So it's not always immediately obvious which way round the buggy is facing.
Okay, that is
Even though
too
it
funny.
doesn't have doors, it does have these shower-proof covers, which you can roll down like so. Or if you'd rather, you can actually remove them.
Who needs doors when you could get this, this plastic window from the store down the street?
Again, compared to the regular Ami, there are some differences in the styling of
Dude,
this
I
car.
like
You've got
the
this
styling
off-road
now.
khaki colour scheme, you've got reinforced bumpers, headlight surrounds, wheel arch extensions, skid plates. There's even a rear spoiler, although to be fair,
Skid plates and a spoiler. Oh my God, what am I looking
you
at?
can get that on the regular Ami.
And does it have a bag on the steering wheel?
There are
You
some
saw
changes
that?
inside as well. So if you
What the
remember,
hell?
on the regular Ami, the gear selector was down by the side of the driver
Oh,
here.
okay.
But with the Ami Buggy, obviously there's no doors, so there isn't much in the way of weather protection. And if it was to rain on the gear selector,
Oh,
that
they had to
wouldn't be
move
ideal.
it.
So what they've done for the Ami Buggy is move it up onto the dashboard here.
There
which
you
is
go.
still very convenient. It's good you can actually see it easily as well, so that's fine.
That's
Another
probably better.
difference is this yellow colour scheme that you can see in here with these highlights dotted around. And it is quite nice, lifts the interior, having this bright dashboard, but on a sunny day like this, it does also mean that that yellow colour is reflected onto the windscreen. So as you drive
Oh.
along, you've got this kind of wall of yellow in the windscreen as well, but it's not actually that bad.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. That's something to think about. Although I'm sure it's not terrible. I'm sure you get used to it. This is just such a bizarre car. Like, can we talk about? Maybe this isn't bizarre where you're watching from. Maybe you've ridden in one of these. Maybe you've just seen, cars like this a lot. I haven't. This is not something that you would see ever in the U.S. And like, not only is it just because it's small and funny looking, right? But it actually is very quirky. Like, it's a very unique car with like this bag on the steering wheel with yellow in the interior, with the weird, details when it comes to like the gauge cluster, gear selectors, these bags and things, containers that like slide in the footwell and come out. Like, it's just a bizarre car. And I can't think of any car for sale in the U.S. that has all these weird features. In other words, it's not just a funny, small-looking car. It actually has this character about it that's just truly one of a kind, man. But this is Citroen. I mean, what I've learned about them is every single, and I haven't looked at, I haven't even scratched the surface on that brand, but the few Citroen models, old and new, that I've looked at have just been so unique. They're just weird in the best way. I always like them. They always put a smile on my face. They're an interesting car company, like for real.
You also get this yellow bag thing on the steering wheel, and to be honest, it is pretty useless because it's very small and also just doesn't really look that nice. Doesn't feel very nice. In fact, feels really cheap. So I think if I owned an Ami Buggy, the first thing I would do is take this off.
Yeah.
And probably not use it again.
Look at that weird steering wheel though as well.
But something that is good and a welcome addition to the interior of the Ami Buggy is this sunroof. Now, just the same as the doors that you can kind of fold back and zip up, this is a similar arrangement for this sunroof. So it's not particularly sophisticated, it's certainly not electrically powered, but it is very effective. And again, just adds to the kind of holiday feeling that you get when you're sat in this car. Now,
I will say that if you're in the right environment, right, you're in some small seaside, peninsula with small roads and not much traffic, and you can buzz around in this thing with some nice weather and a nice breeze and, no doors, the sunroof open, this would be a joy. It would be a joy to ride in. But clearly, it's not a daily driver, not for long trips, yada yada. It's a very, very particular niche car, right? It's not a jack of all trades.
Oh, the interior,
for sure,
otherwise, is just the same as the regular Ami. Really.
And I gotta say, those seats are painfully small with like barely any padding. I can't imagine these are, the beacon of comfort, right?
Now, the interior, otherwise, is just the same as the regular Ami, really. So that is to say, it's pretty basic in here. You obviously only have seating for two, although to be fair, the space that you have for two people is perfectly fine, unless they bring a lot of luggage.
Look at the little pedals.
Which case, this clearly is not a particularly practical choice.
Look at the display, like where the gauge cluster would be. It's all digital. You have some like old Tetris-looking blocks that form the numbers here. I mean, this thing is just wild. This is such a bizarre car. Look at it driving.
Compared to a regular car, there is no area where this is the better choice.
No.
Apart from maybe when it comes to parking. But then, no one's going to be considering this instead of an actual car, are they?
Yeah, and that's the thing. With so many, I see this a lot with opinions of certain vehicles online, right? Yeah, certain vehicles are just made for a purpose, and usually their intended purpose, they do that well, and they never claim to be better at other things, right? Let's go back to the Jeep, right? Everyone knows Jeep Wranglers they're supposed to be a fun vehicle. They're a lifestyle vehicle, right? You take the doors off. They're supposed to be bare bones. They're supposed to be basic. They're supposed to just turn on, run and have fun, right? It's a solid axle, stiff vehicle. They're not going to ride nice. They're not going to be luxurious, right? That's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be tough and rugged, and you can take it apart and put it back together and, drive with no roof and no doors. Like, it's supposed to be fun. If we're using an example like that, this car is not supposed to be the best daily driver and the most practical daily driver ever. That's not what it is. And a Jeep Wrangler is not supposed to be the most luxurious, soft riding truck or SUV you can buy. Of course not. It's a rugged off-road lifestyle vehicle. So stop saying it rides stiff. That's stupid. I did notice in the comments people saying that this is supposedly maybe in certain countries you can drive this without a driver's license. Is that true? Does anyone want to weigh in on that? I mean, it is basically like a golf cart then. Even someone from the U.S. on this video commented, here in the United States, particularly in Florida, we call these golf carts. Which in that case, it really is. It really is like a golf cart with definitely, a little more flash, a little more style.
Oh my God, this thing did a quarter of a mile in just 35.53 seconds. That is a record for the slowest car I've ever launched on CarWow.
That is absolutely hilarious. 35-second quarter mile for those that are curious. I'm surprised it's 27. I feel like this thing could, obviously do a little faster than 27. I bet it could hit 35 or 40. But I think it comes to an issue with stability. As we saw that one turn in Monaco, at presumably only around 25-ish miles per hour, maybe, it flipped over. So, yeah, I think that's why they're limiting the speed, not because it's not capable of hitting more than that, but because of stability. It being so small tires, small wheelbase, you get the equation there. I mean, I don't know why it shows this thing. Is this like a concept, a different one? I don't know. But the pictures of this, it's just absolutely hilarious. I love this one with the bag hanging from this. I mean, there are U.S. publications that have, little bits or articles about this, which I think is funny. And it's definitely not a car that we get here. I am 1,000,000% certain that this is not sold in the U.S. We even have one wrapped in gold. There it is, in gold, guys, next to a Lamborghini. The thing is just hilarious. You know what? I think it looks pretty sleek, but I gotta say, I kind of like it in this slate gray color. What is this? What is this clickbait? You may be able to soon drive a new Citroen in the U.S.? No freaking way. The Ami, Citroen's tiny two-seater EV, is apparently coming to Washington, D.C. as part of a third-party ride-sharing program. Free to Move, a ride-sharing, I've heard of them. They're in Chicago and other big cities. Free to Move, a ride-sharing and rental service, may be offering the Citroen Ami, a tiny electric two-seater hatchback sold in Europe. No freaking way. Is this real? They published a teaser on LinkedIn earlier this week showing a silhouette of the Ami along with the phrase, "From France with love." Something big is coming to Washington, D.C. I mean, something little, to be fair. But this article is from April 30th, 2021. I gotta follow this up. I gotta see if these are in Washington, D.C. because if they are, I might have to make a bit of a business trip. Okay, now this article says this is from December 4th, 2023. So this is pretty recent from this month. This says it basically might be available in a big city near you, but it doesn't give any specific. It does mention that 5 of these Amis are being tested in Washington, D.C., so I suppose there are some here already. But I don't know to what extent, like how available or accessible are they? Will they be spreading more in different cities? You know, are these coming to like Chicago, for example? I have no idea. It's kind of like hard to find info about this thing. Finally, a quick gander at Free to Move, the company that is supposedly has these in the U.S. I can't find anything about it on their website, which is really frustrating. So I don't know. I'll just have to keep my ears out for that one. But regardless, that was a really interesting, quick dive into the Citroën Ami. Really funny car. And, thank you to my parents for surprising me with this. It is awesome and something I didn't expect, so I think it's pretty fun, and I can't wait to see what you guys think in the comments. Have you seen these around where you're watching from? If you're watching this from Europe, France, the UK, wherever these are sold, let me know what they're like. If you've gotten to see one, gotten to drive one, throw a like on there if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to be part of this amazing community we do have here, and click that join button to become a member for super cheap. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker, and until next time, y'all, we'll catch you later.